I have here Claudia Pecoraro, that is an officer of the Directorate General Research and Innovation.
Buon pomeriggio, good afternoon to all of you. I really thank you for this invitation, because I heard before the speakers before me, and I just wrote down a couple of keywords related to ocean, to protection, to the need to drive change, to plastic, and then finally with the foods that we should change, otherwise no change will happen. Before me, there was the speaker from NECA that spoke, finished her intervention calling a mission. So here, I'm here just to talk about the mission, on the need to drive change and to face the important challenges. As we could see from the next slide, the European Commission has launched the so-called European Horizon mission. They were launched in September last year, and the mission are a new way to mobilize initiatives. So basically, it is the next slide actually, rooted in the Horizon Europe. This initiative will draw and enhance synergy among existing programs, infrastructure. So the mission go behind research and innovation. In the next slide, I show how the mission will work. The mission will develop and demonstrate innovative technological solutions, business and governance solutions. It's the next. Okay, leave it here. Yeah, thanks a lot. Solutions. It will provide new forms of cooperation. And as you could see from this slide, our President von der Leyen, during the One Ocean Summit last year on 11 February, she said that every problem actually is an opportunity, but we need a clear and ambitious objective. That is why we have a mission to restore our ocean and waters. As you could see from the next slide, I want to explain why it's important to have a restored ocean and the waters. First of all, it's important for our the ocean waters are major carbon sink and are also essential for adapting to climate change. It's important for our biodiversity to conserve all the diversity of species. And last but not least, it's important for the economic prosperity. The ocean is estimated to generate 2.5 trillion of goods and services per year. In the next slide, I just wanted to show you the legislative process. We start to talk about the mission already in 2020, when there was the expert group report on starfish. We finalized the implementation plan, which is public available, and it explains all the next steps of the mission. And finally, as I said, last September, we launched the communication on the mission. In the next slide, I explain you the objective of the mission. So the mission is based on 3 objectives and 2 enablers. The first objective is to protect and restore marine freshwater ecosystem biodiversity with specific targets, for instance, to protect at least 30% of coastal areas. The second objective is to prevent and eliminate pollution of our oceans and waters with specific targets, for instance, to reduce by 50% plastic litter, and we talk about these in the previous discussions. And the first objective is to make the blue economy carbon neutral and circular. Maybe for the ports, it's important, this objective that I will detail later on. The commission, the mission is based not only on the 3 objectives, but on other 2 important enablers. The ocean and water knowledge system also known as DTO, and the public mobilization and engagement. We have heard so far the need to involve all stakeholders and not to let anyone behind. And this is what the mission is aimed at bringing all stakeholders, including citizens, including youth. In the next slide, next slide, please. Yeah, here, the mission has a setup of four lighthouses in Baltic and North Sea, Mediterranean Basin, Danube River Basin, and Atlantic and Arctic coast. What is important is that each of these lighthouses are linked to one of the three objectives of the mission. For instance, for the Mediterranean Sea, lighthouses is linked to the objective to prevent and eliminate pollution. While for the Danube and Atlantic and Arctic coast, we have the protection and restoration of marine freshwater system. But what are these lighthouses? The lighthouses are space of transformation to pilot, demonstrate, and then scale up innovative solutions. As you could see in the next slide, I think this is not the correct one. No, can you skip this slide? Sorry. Yeah, indeed, this is the correct one. This slide shows what are the lighthouses. As I was explaining, these lighthouses are designed to pilot, to demonstrate innovation and solutions. But we don't start from the scratch. We build on existing initiatives, networks, different sources and fundings and programs. So we start from the Horizon Europe call program, but then we go behind research and innovation. We connect and structure, we mobilize stakeholders. Each lighthouses will pilot lead one of the mission objective, as I said before, and this happen in two phases. The first phase, which goes up to 2024, will be devoted to the piloting of the mission objectives. The second phase, up to 2030, will see the replicability and the scalability of this phase. So it is important for you to know all of this, because we don't start, as you mentioned before, Francesco Alberto, before starting during the introduction, we need synergies. Well, here is the way to put all together, not only stakeholders, bring forces, join forces, but also to enhance synergies among programs and funded programs. In the next slide, okay, I think that this is not correct, but I can briefly mention. I was thinking to show this slide tomorrow, but fine, no problem. This show you how what I was explaining you before, that the lighthouses start from research innovation program, and as you could see here, the European Commission has launched the coordinated support action called the CSA with the funded programs per each objectives and each lighthouses. And here I highlighted the Mediterranean, where one of the focus in the previous work program was the plastic pollution, while the second one in the work program will be the chemical pollution. I don't know the next slide, which one will be. Yeah, here. As I was explaining before, the lighthouses will be in two different phases. The first one is the piloting, and the second one, the scale up of innovative solution. And the next slide. Yeah, as mentioned before, we work based on synergies across programs, synergies across funds, synergies across international dimension, and bring it all together to achieve and contribute to the mission objectives. Next slide. Yeah, next slide. Here I show how we work, how the mission will support. So we will have the baseline lines which highlight the gaps in the different lighthouses and what are the needs. There will be a portfolio of projects and initiatives including Horizon Europe and other funded programs, LIFE, Interreg, MFF funds. There will be, what I said before, the CSA, the Coordinated Support Actions, which are the contribution that the mission will do at the level lighthouses, and the mission implementation platform, which will be launched next year, and it has a role of technical support. In the next slide, here I talk about here we find the mission charter. So the mission as a charter to joint commitment to restore our ocean and waters. Why we need a charter? A charter gives a sense of ownership, because by joining forces, you drive change for a healthy ocean waters and thus contributed to the Green Deal's objectives. The second reason is because by adhering to the charter, you have access to cooperation with other instruments, with the other stakeholders. So you enter into community of practice. I wanted to emphasize that the mission is, sorry, I just had a technical issue, that the charter is not binding. It's a voluntary basis, is an engagement to show your contribution to the mission objectives. So in the next slide, how you can adhere to the charter. By mobilizing your program instrumental resources, and you wanted to endorse this charter, the charter will support the innovation ecosystem and the different components, finance instruments. So you will be aware of all funding existing and what are the other investments. You will have access to all collective knowledge and data in maritime biodiversity domains. And you will mobilize all stakeholders, all the important actors, not only researchers, not only policymaker decisions, but also citizens and youth. And as you could see in the next slide, I don't know if it will be, but yeah, that's what we did last week in Marseille, in France, where we brought all the key stakeholders in Marseille to show what the mission is, but also to allow this coordination of regional programs, instruments, and programs which are aligned to the objective of the mission. And therefore, Marseille as a city, but also the region, made a political engagement by endorsing the charter. The charter, by the way, will be launched in Lisbon next year on 30 June. I will provide you tomorrow with the link how to get registered to this event and how you will get the possibility to endorse the charter. So my final words will be to join forces, not do overlapping, enhance coherence, come if you really care about your planet, if you really care about ocean and waters, come and join us. And thank you very much.